Right then, good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, Transformative Oncology Research Skills in Practice. Thank you for joining. It's a great opportunity to find out more about our postgraduate online part-time oncology program and directly from the course director, Dr. Suzanne Johnson. I'm Rebecca Evans, the course advisor, here to support you through the application process. James, my predecessor, who some of you already may know from last year, is supporting the chat. So please let us know your questions there or in the Q&A box, and we'll address them towards the end. So here's a brief agenda for today's session. And if you're watching this back on YouTube, or if you have any further questions that we've not addressed, please email us at studyonline@manchester.ac.uk. So I've added some resources here for you to watch back, particularly the 17th of April webinar, What to Expect and How to Excel as an Online Student, which coincidentally, James facilitated that session. So thank you very much for that content. I've also listed Sam's Transformative Oncology Student Perspective webinar that was done about the 15th of June last year, Sue. So thank you very much for hosting that last year.
And where has that time gone? Sorry.
I know, and when we put this up, we'll put it up on the YouTube channel. We'll put links as well, so you can go back and find them, but they should be in the chat as well. So without further delay, please let me hand over to the wonderful Dr. Suzanne Johnson, Course Director, Unit Lead, Director for Social Responsibility here in the School of Medical Sciences at the University of Manchester. If there's the University of Manchester Cancer Founder for Women, Suze, please let me hand over to you.
Thanks very much, Rebecca. Hello, everybody, and welcome along. Can we have the first slide, please? Fantastic. So in this webinar today, we're going to cover the content of the programme itself. We're going to look at the research skills in practice element, which is the research element of the master's degree. But we're also going to talk a little bit about, why this programme is unique and progressive, why it's different, and why Manchester, actually. So Transformative Oncology is, sorry, just one please. Constantly a bit eager on the button there. Transformative Oncology is absolutely pioneering, and it's very patients focused, and the programme itself has been designed to bring together the excellence of leading institutions, including the University of Manchester. So our students will be fully equipped to with all the skills you need to transform the outcomes for patients with cancer. So you can choose different options. You can come for the full master's degree. You can do a PG Cert or a PG Dip, and I'll explain those units as we go through today. It is part-time, and you've got the option to study. If you're doing the PG Cert, for example, you can do it in 12 months or up to 30 months. There's lots of different options available. So please, whatever your requirements are or your ability to commit to your learning, please talk to us, and we can help you to organise your path through your learning journey. It is all online, so the study is available with a range of different engaging online resources. So we have some experts who've really prepared some fantastic learning materials for you to engage with. As I said, it's progressive and it's future focused, and I'll talk you through why that is in a minute. But one of the big advantages of joining this type of online learning is that you can start to build your global network. So we really encourage our students to communicate with each other through discussion boards, so you can meet and collaborate like-minded professionals on the global campus. So let's have a look at the structure of the programme. So next slide, please. Thank you. So as I say, we can do. You can choose to do a postgraduate certificate, a postgraduate diploma, or the full master's degree. I will go through these in a bit more detail, but this is just how the structure looks. Each of these units is delivered over 8 weeks, so that's 6 weeks of taught content, and then a couple of weeks for you to get all your assessments and assignments in. We do have some synchronous opportunities to engage with our experts and our staff through tutorials, but these are the general topic areas that we're covering across the programme. I will go into these in a little bit more detail, but I thought we'd just start by, on the next slide, just having a little bit of a thought about the actual skills. So the professional skills development that you're able to undertake during your learning on this programme, and that might help you decide whether this is the right course for you. So the ethos of the programme is to bring together science and medicine. So, for example, if you're medically trained and you're interested in pursuing a career as a clinical academic in a research institution, maybe conducting research in any branch of oncology, you'll really benefit from understanding some of the basic science methodologies that we cover within the programme. And this can help you to plan projects, to write grant proposals, but also to conduct those investigations. And then on the flip side, if you're intending to pursue more translational research or develop perhaps diagnostic platforms in the industrial sector, it's hugely enriching to understand and appreciate the potential clinical applications or the impact on the patients of any of your discoveries, and how your experiments and investigations can really feed into that clinical pathway. So just on the right-hand side here, I've summarised some of the professional skills that you can develop through your learning on this programme. So things like professional communication, both verbal and written, coordinating with others. It's so important to have that collaborative approach in oncology, critical thinking, time management, of course, and teamwork. And really important as well is reflective practice. This is something that we've embedded throughout the programme. We've realised with our students they get so much more understanding and depth of knowledge when they reflect on what they've understood and what they've learned in that one unit, and they can build on that reflective portfolio as they move through. And that's something that's very transportable. Then that portfolio can go with you throughout your career, and it's a way of approaching your work in practice, which is really beneficial. Next slide, please. So I thought I'd just put a few options and thoughts around where this education could take you. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about continuing in research, so whether this is in an academic environment, so going on to do a PhD, for example, or whether it's in a contract research organisation or pharmaceutical industry. You might be already in healthcare or wanting to move into healthcare, and of course that can be patient-facing in a hospital or a clinic, or indeed in services, so in diagnostic or screening services that sit at the back of that clinical pathway, or maybe even things like a data analyst or centre manager. There are, of course, lots of administrative roles, whether it's influencing science policy or marketing. Science communication has been a huge advance in our area, particularly in oncology. People really want to know and understand about cancer. And also the research charities or funders, there's lots and lots of roles involved in that. And, you know, you might be already working within a field within oncology, and you might want to be looking into moving into leadership, now whether that's regional or national or indeed global health. So there's just a bit of a taster of the types of roles that we imagine this learning and this education can take you. And it's probably worth just talking a little bit about the Manchester Cancer Research Centre. So if you just advance the slide for me, perfect. We're really fortunate here in Manchester. So this is all about why Manchester is the place to study about cancer. The Manchester Cancer Research Centre really encompasses world-leading, internationally recognised research through the university and teaching, of course. Cancer Research UK, which is one of the largest funder of cancer research in the UK, and also the Christie Hospital and the NHS Foundation Trust, which really is exceptional at delivering clinical trials and translational research, which is delivered through the various NHS trusts. There's a really strong team science ethos as part of the MCRC that bring those partners together. And that's really important to breaking down these silos. So there's real affiliations with lots of different institutes across Greater Manchester. And that really feeds into the content and the ability that we've got to bring the experts to our students on this programme. And if we look just a little bit at the messaging, so this is our the Professor Rob Bristow, who is the director of the MCRC. He's also the cancer domain lead at the university. And his vision really is to unite translational science and clinical excellence to create a future free of the burden of cancer and implement precision cancer strategy for all. And just some ideas of how that's happening and from a Manchester perspective. And to say that actually this, you know, there were a lot of conversations in the development of this programme with people who are working in that workforce already to say, what are the aspects, what are the skills, what is the knowledge that you need people to have to come in and work effectively within this this environment. So this programme has really been designed to hit those targets. One final slide to really talk about Manchester's power in the form of cancer. These are just some of the milestones that we've been party to over the last 100 years or so, including the discovery of the proton, all the way through to then being the first high energy proton therapy centre in the NHS, which launched in 2018. and lots of different advances and innovations along the way. So let's talk a little bit about the programme itself. So as I say, if you want to join and do the postgraduate certificate in transformative oncology, the first section, really, the first 4 units really covers the tumour, the patient, the treatment, and then the specialities. So I have put some, yeah, brilliant, thank you. So the first unit is all about understanding the challenges of tumour biology, and this is really because tumours are very heterogeneous, and it's really important to have that understanding of tumour diversity and how that can impact on both detection and treatment. So we cover tumour heterogeneity, toxicity, and also we cover rare and non-palpable tumours. The next unit is led by our Professor of Cancer Genomics, David Wedge, and this is all about the patient, because it's a real understanding that cancer is an individualised disease. So it's really building that appreciation through understanding of cancer genomics, that each cancer patient is an individual, and the contributions of any underlying health or genetics and lifestyles can really impact on their cancer type and the development and the treatment options available to them. The third one moves on to established and experimental therapeutics, and a huge amount of advancement at the moment in immuno-oncology, and that's covered by our expert Jamie Honeychurch. And this really outlines the present and also the future of cancer care. So really looking at how treating every cancer and every patient individually, and focusing down on drug delivery, targeted therapies, including immunotherapy, and then the opportunity to repurpose existing drugs. And then finally, in the first year, you cover this, what we're calling the specialities or the branches of oncology. So this is put together by our clinical oncologist, our surgical oncologist, Bilal Al-Kafaf, and he's really going to introduce everybody to the as an overview to the different specialities in oncology. They're all interlinked. No cancer is treated by one discipline alone, and it's really important to understand that those multidisciplinary approaches are key in precision oncology. But we thought it was really useful to break that down into medical, clinical, and surgical oncology for the purposes of your learning. So that's the PG Cert. And if you stay with us to do the postgraduate diploma, this really does start to draw on Manchester's strengths as world leaders in research. So we have the science of radiotherapy, we look at strategies for early detection, principles for personalised medicine, and then finally delivering the best cancer care. So in terms of radiotherapy, it is the cornerstone of cancer treatment. And this goes a little bit of a deep dive into the physics of radiotherapy, clinical radiotherapy, and also the techniques that we now use in Manchester for imaging of radiotherapy and the advances that we've made there. In terms of early detection, which is a real pivotal drive here in Manchester, we're looking at the effective use of a whole variety of different medical imaging tools and technologies, but also methodologies of screening from a population point of view, functional molecular imaging, and as I say, those imaging tools that are available to really start to think about the importance of detecting that cancer early, because it really does open up the options for treatment. Next, we move on to principles of personalised medicine. So this is all about understanding stratification by cancer risk or response to therapy, and it covers all of the omics and the different approaches that we use to look at molecular alterations and how that feeds into our ability to use treatment stratification, and also touches on the complications brought by drug resistance. And then in our final unit, we're talking about delivering the best cancer care. And this is where it really brings the patient perspective. Establishing the effective and efficient cancer pathway to really bring those optimal results for every single patient is so crucial. So learning from the exemplars in Manchester, and we can set out to you how we do it here, but we're very aware that different healthcare systems exist on the global stage. So the opportunity for everybody to exchange their individual experiences and their expertise is a real strength in this unit. So we talk about treatment planning, and again, we talk about that real important multidisciplinary approach. And then new for this year, coming in this year, we have 2 new optional units. So we have understanding advanced therapies in the cancer setting, and also experimental cancer medicine trials. So in the first unit here, this is really an opportunity to understand the scientific, the clinical, and the regulatory issues that are related to the manufacture, the production, and the delivery of advanced therapeutics. And it's all done in the context, of course, of oncology. So this is about the scientific rationale which underpins the need for advanced therapies, the complexity in having those regulated and manufactured, and also how that they are then delivered within a clinical pathway. And then in terms of experimental cancer medicine, this is outlining the development of novel treatments for oncology patients. And this is where the real strength in the Christie Hospital really comes through. It's about a focus on the design and the delivery of those early phase clinical trials, what went well, what didn't go so well, what learnings can we have, an introduction how to structure those different trials and what types are effective and which cancer types. A real focus on early phase clinical trials, and then that preclinical and translational steps that follow that in order to develop those novel strategies and novel agents in oncology. So that a bit of a whistle-stop tour of the entire programme. And we've built this today as a bit of a focus on research skills in practice. So if you choose to do your full MSc with us, we are developing now the research skills in practice, which will enable you to continue your learning at a distance, online and flexibly. So this will continue to help you to fit within your working day. And this module really sets out all of the main principles of research. So it will teach you how to formulate a research question. It will give you the skills to do a full critical appraisal of the literature of whichever area or topic you're interested in. It will give you the underpinning knowledge to design that study methodology and why that's important. It will also talk a little bit about the ethical side and the responsibilities of you as a researcher. Obviously, we will be promoting your ability to communicate your research in lots of different ways. And as I mentioned before, that important reflective practice and that ability for you to sort of reflect on how your research is going and what you can do to improve. So thank you very much. So within that learning, you will be able to learn the principles of designing the research questions, develop the research skills needed to commission, evaluate and critique research and apply that knowledge to your own research area, understand the role of selecting appropriate methodology and knowing how to explore your research question using and applying those methodologies, really appreciating and applying the underpinning theoretical frameworks which strengthen that research practice. And this means that your research will be more robust in the future. And really, refining and evidencing your communication and your reflective skills is something that we're really, really hot on. So all of our assessments and our assignments are really designed to be workplace relevant and to be able to enable you to really evidence those skills that you can take forward with you in your future careers. So where do we go next? Oh yes, so the option also, if you don't want to continue your study online, there is an opportunity for you to establish a research-based placement or research project. This will be aligned with a chosen theme, whether that's radiotherapy, early detection, or personalised medicine. And this can take place in your current setting, or there might be an opportunity, there is some additional cost involved, but there is an opportunity to come to Manchester to work with some of the experts that you've met over the course of the project and over the course of the degree programme. So there's lots of opportunities for dialogue between the unit leads and also myself around which is the best option for you at that stage. So ultimately, I think, this is a progressive master's training programme. And, the ultimate outcome, whether you come from a scientific or a medical background, we really want you to upskill and have those skills to effectively transform clinical outcomes for patients with cancer within your career path. So our students will absolutely have the up-to-date understanding of the underlying biology of cancer with all of the new advances and techniques that we are now able to use. So you've really got that 21st century knowledge and perspective of cancer as we move towards precision oncology. And that involves appreciating the diversity of the different tumour types, but also the different patients. And that's something that's woven throughout all of our units and all of our teaching. You will absolutely experience the benefits of multidisciplinary team working. You will hear from experts who are working in the field and how they link with different disciplines with a patient-centered view in order to make sure that they've got the best outcome for that individual patient. You will have an understanding of how effective treatment strategies and how they can work synergistically together, and the importance of understanding that underpinning biology and those decision-making meetings, etc. And also you will be able to evidence the skills that you've learned, so that you'll be able to directly integrate them into your current careers and also your future directions.
Thank you very much, Suze. I think the next one's over to me before we go to our questions. So, yeah, Suze has just been mentioning what types of people we have on the course. I've just put aside here about the entry requirements. So professional experience will be considered and may be approved if satisfactory evidence of postgraduate study, research or professional experience can be provided. And what I also would say is advice from the admissions team to ensure they can make the quickest decision and give you a turnaround to get you an offer. Please can you upload your application with the documents I've put here, a little checklist. And also the application portal. Thanks very much, James. So in my role as course advisor, I have found the most useful University of Manchester web pages are listed here. We'll also put these in the chat and on the YouTube channel. For UK students, if you've not already completed a master's degree, you may be able to receive financial support from Student Finance England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. And if you're joining us from afar, I recommend checking to see if there's something similar in your country, or get in touch with me and I'll have a look to see if I can provide you some more guidance. Oh, in addition, the early application deadline has been extended. So if you apply on or before the 24th of June, you will receive a 10% reduction on the tuition fee. What you need to do is submit your application, and once they come back to you with an offer, you need to apply within 2 weeks from the date of that offer. So please get your applications in soon. So over to the questions part of this session. So Suze, this is a question from someone who has applied and they want to know the turnaround, whether it's been accepted or not. We do like to give a turnaround or to hear something back with a request for further information to support that offer within about 10 working days. But it can be delayed if the admissions team are still waiting on some of your documentation. With regards to some of the things you need to, if you're not from an English-speaking country, what I would say is upload everything that you've got already. If you're just outstanding that confirmation of English requirements, and if everything else matches for an offer, they can give you a conditional offer and send you a link to do a free Pearson English test. So don't let that hold you back from applying, and just it's free to apply, so I recommend you do apply. We have a question about what if we are transferring from another master's? Okay, so that's the APEL requirements, isn't it, Suze? So if you have any credits from a previous course, still apply, and it goes to a board, I believe, on certain dates, and they will make that assessment then. I think there is a fee, like a small admin fee, but that is something that you'll follow up with once you've applied and been made an offer.
I would add to that as well, if you don't mind, Rebecca. So this is to Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for the question. If you've got a list of the transcript of the actual degree course that you've undertaken and the units that you've covered already, it might expedite that a little bit if you contact Rebecca directly through the Study Hub. Sorry, not the Study Hub.
Study online at manchester.ac.uk.
You'll get the Study Hub if you become a student with us. We have a fantastic support network for all of our students. So if you want to get in touch with Rebecca and let her know what your particular qualifications are to date and the units you've covered and a transcript of those, then we can help to expedite that application for you.
Yes, and we have a question from Saja. So are you able to transfer to full-time and on-campus learning before the placement? I believe that might be a separate program, Suze.
Yeah, so Transformative Oncology is an online program. It is distance learning. So I'm going to answer another question in combination here, because there's one that's come through the Q&A. So it is designed to be part-time because the majority of our students are already working professionals. I'm not sure we covered the hours, did we, in the opening part, but we recommend that it's around 15 to 25 hours a week. to cover the learning materials. There are other oncology programs. So if you go to the university website and you're looking to do a face-to-face program, there are some full-time cancer PGC programs that might be more suitable for you. That's absolutely fine. Some of those are integrated in a blended fashion with some of the units that are available in transformative oncology, and actually that we found that that's really brought a rich discussion from our different students from around the world. So people who are working on campus and attending some of their course program units, and then joining some of our global cohorts through Transformative Oncology really brings a richness to the discussions there. So hopefully that's kind of answered your question. In terms of the one in Q&A, so Mohammed is asking if there are face-to-face classes. So because this is an asynchronous delivery, so the learning materials are there and available for you to access anytime you want to within your working sort of time period. But we do offer face-to-face synchronous tutorial opportunities and opportunities for example, Ask the Experts sessions where we might bring in an oncologist or somebody who works in a particular area, depending on what the unit is, for you to engage with live. So there are some live sessions that are available. They're not mandatory because obviously we've got time zones to consider, etc. And any discussions or any tutorials are recorded and then made available for the rest of the cohort. So hopefully that answers that question as well.
Yes, there's a. I was going to say there's a question from Claire about finalising funding. I would say that's at student registration, so towards the end of August when you're logging in, and it's discussions with the tuition fees at manchester.ac.uk. The specialised finance team there can help you put in place some finance plans. There is the option to pay by instalments, usually three payments per year, September, February and May, but that is for them, I'm afraid. We're supporting the application. But yeah, do get in touch. I believe I have been, and I have some resources that I can provide. So, looking for confirmations. Oh, what's Betty? A medical laboratory technology, however, have a degree in health and social systems management. Oh, it looks like you may be eligible, Betty. I'd say get in touch and apply.
Absolutely. Hi, Betty, over in Uganda. Great to have you on the call. Thank you for your question. We really want to capture as many different disciplines working who want to come into the field of oncology. So if you've been working as a medical lab technician, you will already have some skills that are very applicable for you to apply for this programme. So I would say absolutely get in touch with Rebecca. Start that dialogue. If you prefer to have a one-to-one conversation with myself, we can arrange that, absolutely. I'm always very keen to discuss people's application if needed.
I've also had some quick questions come in through email, Suze, and it's what is the quickest you can complete the Masters in?
I would say 3 years.
Yeah, and there is the option to pause as well studies, isn't there? So if you need to take a break, you talk to your study advisor, hub rep, and look at ways that you can pick up again. And I think the maximum is 5 years as well from the start, so there is some flexibility. And yes, a question about for the final year placement, is there the possibility of coming to campus, or is that still under review at the moment?
Yeah, so for this cohort coming through, so this will be coming to join us in 2024. The research element of your degree, if you do the Masters, won't happen until 2020, get my maths right, September 2026. So there's plenty of time for things to be organised and set up. Nothing's impossible, but there has to be a supervisor, etc. So there's a lot of the academic team that needs to be put into place to make sure that you're supported properly in that project. And that's something that we're certainly working on at the moment within the background of the programme. So yes, keep in touch with us, ask the questions. Yeah, it's being set up. I think there is an advantage for some students to stay within the online learning environment, and also because the skills that you will learn through research skills in practice gives you a theoretical underpinning expertise that you don't get by launching directly into a research project. So it depends on where your trajectory wants to take you in terms of your career development. So yeah, by all means, let's have that conversation.
There's a question from El Said. Does the course explain deeply the available treatments for all types of tumours? I think you might have answered that when you were going over the course units, Suze. So I think it's what's at the cutting front knowledge at the moment. Manchester is on the cusp of it, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if you're asking me whether we cover all, I think the current number is around 200 and something different types of tumours. I would say no, unfortunately, we don't have the capacity to do them all individually. However, the advances that are coming through the pipeline, we absolutely do a deep dive into, whether that's breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and we look at the treatment pathways that are available, as I say, through the branches of oncology, but also the existing experimental therapeutics. So something like immuno-oncology, for example, which is a technique which is increasingly applicable to different tumour types as the development goes forward. So we do cover lots of different types. The one thing I would say about in terms of prior knowledge and students joining Unit 1, we do start with all about tumour heterogeneity and methodologies for studying that, and extracellular environments, and what the way a tumour cell can change from being in a tumour mass and to metastasize, etc. So it does go straight into the depth of cancer biology, as opposed to starting very, very early cancer biology 101. But what we do is give people the opportunity to upskill and refresh their knowledge. If they've done some cancer biology, maybe at A-level or in the previous program, then you can upskill that with some prior knowledge that we've got available to you on the website. So there is an opportunity for you to come up to speed before you join that first unit.
I think the questions are starting to slow down, but I do have one more for you, Suze.
Okay.
You were recently in London, I believe, to do with the Global Awards. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Okay. Didn't put me on that one, did you? So yes, so
you went to Westminster, I believe.
Well, so we did. So we've launched the Global Futures strategy from the university, and part of that is that we're working. I'm involved in co-investigator on a research project in Kenya, where we're looking at early detection and screening opportunities for esophageal cancer, which is one of the biggest killers out there. And actually, it's an interesting cancer because it's different to the specific type we get here in Manchester, and it also affects male and females equally. So we're working with a cancer hospital in Nairobi and 5 different counties to really look at ways of understanding more about that particular cancer type. So I'm involved in the community engagement aspect. In fact, I'm going out in July to a county called Merry to talk to individuals about their experiences, their lived experiences, what are the early signs and symptoms, so that we can build an education and information campaign. And as part of the grant, we're integrating with clinical pathways over in Kenya, so that we're enabling them to come for screening for esophageal cancer and through endoscopies on a mobile truck. So yeah, it's a really exciting project to be part of. And yes, I was invited to talk at the Houses of Parliament in London a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's great to hear. Just to reassure Behamizo, with regards to needing an English test, I'd advise you to apply, and worldwide applications, they'll be able to send you a link to do the free test for your English requirements. So that's not an issue. Apply, please. Any more? Oh, another person asking if they're suitable for applying. Yeah, please get in touch. We're going to launch a little poll to see if you need any, see if anyone wants a consultation following up from this session. We'll put that there now. But I think that's it for the questions. So I think we'll start wrapping up if that's okay, Suze. Do you have anything we need to add? that we've missed?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think what's really nice about this program now is we launched in 2022. So this cohort will be our third cohort, and what we're gathering from our current students through our reflective portfolios actually and through consultations is just how valuable they're finding the content and also the perspectives that they're gathering from working with their cohort as well on the global campus. It's really enriching people's understanding, enriching people's experience, and actually really inspiring people to want to push to change their practice in their current, whatever their job role is currently. They're seeing the way the exemplars are presented from Manchester. We do it in a way which isn't we're telling you everybody should do it this way, but rather that these are the steps that we took to develop this particular strategy, and maybe that might work for you as well. So it might be nice actually to set up an ability to have some past students communicate with our current, with our incoming students as well, to share some best practice and some tips about time management and making sure you have dedicated time to do your online learning, etc. Because we all know that life happens. So, and I suppose the other thing to say is that we're very, very supportive of our students. So all the way through your learning, there's opportunities for you to engage with us directly, but also with the support staff. If there's any mitigating circumstances or any situations where you've got a change in job role or ill health or anything, whatever might be impacting your ability to study with us, we're able to talk you through with lots of different options for that, to make sure that you can continue on your learning journey as much as possible and enjoy the programme, importantly.
As a University of Manchester graduate from 2017 as well, and then since working for the university and in cancer sciences, I can say that I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here as well. And the opportunity that it presents, like anything, isn't it? You've got to be motivated to do it, and you get out what you put in. And yes, so please, you are very welcome. And thank you very much for all the responses that are coming in. It's much appreciated. Right then, so I think what we'll finish up by saying, I just like this slide from Sam from last year's student perspective, Suze. It's wonderful. And I've been in touch with Sam as well. She's a great person. But what I would like to say is just thank you very much for joining us today. We've covered a lot of ground discussing our Transformative Oncology Programme and the Research Skills in Practice unit. A big thank you to Suze for her time and joining us today. And thank you very much, James, on chat. More importantly, thank you for joining us today from around the world. It's great to have you. And remember, you can find more resources on our website, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any further questions. We appreciate everyone that's joined today, and your participation is invaluable. We look forward to welcoming you in September. Stay safe and take care, everybody. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you on the programme. Take care now.